Hello and welcome to another entry into Jessop's journal. The thing that's interesting about being a storyteller is that a lot of the time you don't really hear stuff, but every once in a while something special happens. My collaborator, videographer, the guy that's setting all this stuff up, makes me look good and you can actually make sure you can hear me, is a gentleman by the name of Ed. Well, Ed and I have been doing Utah success stories for a long time, number of years. But we also did an interesting little project called Utah Caring Stories. And this was one where it's like, I wanted to get those stories that normally are not going to be told because there's just not enough airtime. Well, the folks in the newsroom, and specifically our news director, Todd Reed, mentored me on this one, and so we were able to have some fun. Well, a lot of the time we do a story and we never hear what happens next. But in this one we did. I don't want to give it away quite yet, so first I'll set this up. Here's a Utah Caring story that you need to watch and then come back to make sure that you hear, I won't use Paul Harvey's words, but the stuff that happened next. So Ed, roll it.
I've been married 11 years.
Infertility has a cost, both emotionally and financially, for couples like Shawnee and Jordan Griffeth.
I don't think a lot of people understand.
They give you ranges, but usually $30,000 to $60,000 for an adoption.
After having what they called their miracle baby, Carter, they chose to adopt.
So what kind of things did you do to help this birth mother choose you?
Jackson's birth mom, when she was choosing a family, she had actually already chosen one before us. And she had the feeling to go back and look through the books and look and see if there's any other families that maybe she didn't really pay attention to. And she came upon us again and thought, boy, that actually is the family that Jackson needs to go to.
What was it like to meet your new son for the first time?
The minute that nurse put him in my arms, I knew without a doubt that he was always meant to be my little boy.
What would you say to a birth mother that is thinking of placing a child?
I can only think of how courageous that could be. To give that child to a family that can't have children and to give them a gift like that is one of the greatest things that you could ever give somebody.
What would you say to someone that is thinking of adopting?
It takes a lot of patience and faith and hope.
What gives you hope?
How do you not have hope when we wake up and see both our boys, who are both miracles, and see their faces and get to be their mom and dad every day? How do you not continue to have hope when we weren't sure if we'd ever have any kids and we have those two amazing boys? That gives me all the hope in the world right there.
Absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed that Utah Caring story. So now here is the rest of what happens. So with adoption, and for that matter, fertility, there's a lot of physical cost. There's a lot of emotional cost. The thing that gets intriguing is that when you do a story, there's so much that's cut out, all those edits and everything, but you've got a certain period of time. Well, here's what's interesting. I talked with the family, and it had been an open adoption, and they were there at the birth the whole bit, but they lost track of the birth mom and hadn't heard from her for quite a long time, and we're a little concerned about her. And here's the kid, he's about 1.5 years old, I think it was. And so the thing that is kind of cool about stories is they definitely have power. And what you don't understand in today's world is it's not just people here in Utah watching ABC4, because we posted that Utah Caring online. And this is one of those things in my career that I will always remember, and yeah, I wrote it down in one of my journals. I got a voicemail. I came to the office, and my phone's doing the blinking thing. Okay, I got a voicemail. It happens a lot. And I listened to this voicemail, and she says, there's a woman on the other line, and Mr. Jessop, I'm so-and-so. I saw your story on the family with the little boy and the adoption. Well, I'm the birth mother. Whoa. She was living on the East Coast, had made some probably less than stellar decisions in her life, and things were kind of a little crazy. But she follows and continues and says, I really want to get in contact with the family again. I've got a new phone number. I've been out of contact for quite a long time. Could you please pass that information along? Wow. So I went to the family and gave them that phone number. It's pretty neat to see that family tear up, to be able to find that connection again. All because we ran a story on a news station, but we also put it online. Stories do have power, people. Remember to write things down. Remember to pass along those stories, because if you don't, they get lost. And I was raised, always remember where you come from. So the message there is, you never know what you do, how that's going to impact somebody else. So make it a good thing. The thing that keeps my stories going on, quite bluntly, is the fact that I have underwriters. They're businesses that in these tough times need some help as well. And so I'm going to give you some, I guess you'd call it personal endorsements. First off, Rustico. They're the guys that make my journals. I mean, it's Jessop's journal. You know, I got to have a journal, and these guys do a stellar job. The other thing is Five Wise Vodka. I was over there the other day bottling, helping them, because they're not making vodka right now. What are they doing? They're making hand sanitizer, okay? This stuff is like right now liquid gold. They'll help you out. The other thing I look at is you always need to have something good and green in your life. And my friends at Liquid Dirt are the guys to go to. They make a phenomenal fertilizing product, but the other thing is they make these awesome looking planters, including these little circular string gardens. Highly recommend them. They're right across the street from the West Jordan Airport. And then lastly, and I know I said this in another episode, but I'm going to say it again. If you're stuck at home, working from home, resist the temptation to stay in your pajamas. You sometimes just need to get dressed up, just to remind yourself that you're a part of the community, a part of the business world. The people that help me are the folks at Taylor Cooperative. They make all my shirts and my suits, and when you put something on like that, it makes you feel good. And of course, I'm the guy that does all the stories with the hats. I've been wearing hats for a long time. JW Custom Hats, they're the guys to do that. In closing, stories have power. They help us understand each other. With another entry into Jessop's journal, I'm Doug Jessop, ABC4 News.